Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. My name's Dale, the saskryker, and today it's another install video. Yes, I hear you. We've got crows just squawking away here. What we're going to be installing is, yes, thanks for your input, the Brandon King chin spoiler. Now, the last time I showed you this, it was the black color. Again, I've sprayed it to the color of my bike, which is this really nice green color. A little disappointed in the product I used. It's the Krylon Fusion paint, and it's the jungle green. This thing on the can says no runs, no drips, no errors. What did it do? It ran, it dripped, it made errors. I had to resand it, repaint it. Still not happy with it, but it's the best I'm going to get out of this product, because the pandemic has really put a shortage on those kind of things. I've gone into Home Depot, our local co-op home center here, Rona, Lowe's. They all have very limited supply of the cans of spray paint. So when I saw this at my local home center, I got the can, and yeah, not my first choice, but we'll go with what we've got. So today I'm going to take you through the installation of this chin spoiler, courtesy of Brandon King at BKD Exhaust. And if you're looking for this product, it's bkdexhaust.com. Is where you'll find it. And he's got a special deal for Canadians, so just scroll down to the bottom of one of the pages on his site and you'll see it there. Now, you're going to see me go through a couple of extra steps just because I've got my top-notch Ryker mod grill guard on the front. Plus, because of the weight on the front of the grill, my panels didn't line up. So you'll see me taking off a couple of screws on the side, and that was just to hold those panels in place because of the weight of the grill guard at the front. The side pieces where those panels connect kept popping out, so I've had to screw and bolt something into that. So I'll take you through the steps, and then you can see how easy this product is to use. Okay, so where this product is going to live is ultimately right here, and it's held on by two bolts on the side, one here and one here, but also the bolts on the bottom that actually hold the front plastic piece on. So what I'm going to be doing is taking this cover off, and up top here there's a bolt here, excuse me, and a bolt here that I'm going to have to take off before this whole front cover comes off, because I'm going to have to drill some holes and kind of get this set where I need it. So we're going to start with that first. Okay, so like I was saying, the front end of this bike is a little heavy just because of the top-notch Ryker mod grill piece, and this panel particularly kept popping out, so I had to drill a hole here and put this screw in just to hold this panel in place. And you'll probably see as soon as this screw comes out what it's going to do, if it's going to do it at all. But it was doing it as soon as I got on the road, and I thought, oh my god, there it is. See, it's starting to pull away already. So this actually is a fit in there, and it keeps popping off. So that's why that's screwed on. And we're also going to do this side. Now the bike is up on couple of ramps just to make it easier to get onto the front end of the bike and get rid of those two bolts that takes the front end off. So we will be taking the hood off first as well, so those two come out. Next part of the disassembly is the hood, which has just those two catches, and that comes off. So this is where these panels come out, and you just kind of pull them out and they just pop off from here. I'm not going to take them off right now just because I want to get the screws underneath done. And again, I'm going to apologize for my fat head because I'm left-handed, so I'm going to take the grill guard off. And it's just these push pins right here that pop off, just to get that extra weight out of the way. And behind here, this is where this system comes into play that we were talking about, is these are the two pins that lock that piece I just took off. And behind that is the grill guard. So again, I've had to take this off once already. And I'm going to take this off again. Just going to get down on the ground here and apologize for the not the best view that you can see under here. And we'll get these two bolts off. And they come off fairly easily. And again, just take your time with this, because again, you don't want to be stripping anything up because you're looking at metal going into plastic. So the plastic is easily stripped out if you're not careful. I think this actually goes into a metal frame rail area. There's one almost out, and then the other one over here. And I'm just going to roll this out. And this is something that if you're not comfortable doing, then you can get one of your buddies that has a Ryker or somebody who's a little more mechanically inclined. This is fairly easy to do. This is not something that is going to be, pretty labor intensive like my lettering that I'm going to be attempting sort of soon. I've been kind of putting it off. And I'm not sure how much you're seeing of this anyways, so other than my big fat head. So this is all coming off nicely. And you hang on to these two bolts that are right here. So those two are the ones that held this on. So now this is where we unclip this. And we're going to do the other side. And this just comes out. There. And that's how easy it comes off. And even with the grill guard on, you'll see all the bugs. So when you're in here, you've got bugs. Again, anything that's on this radiator is going to block airflow. And that's what you don't want, is blocked airflow into your engine, because this is liquid cooled. All right, so let's get this over to the operating table. Now in the kit, you're going to get these two bolts here along with these two clips. You're also going to get some washers, a nut and a bolt. These are for the side. This is where you attach it to the side piece where you're going to have to drill a 7/32 hole. But for now, what we want to do is get this on here. This is upside down, so the two holes that were at the bottom that I just pulled those bolts out of here. We're going to get this mounted up. Basically what we're going to do is take the clip and put it right through here. And we're going to get it in, force it in there so that it lines up with the hole. And again, I've got this punch, which kind of gets the hole set. All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to line up those holes with the chin spoiler and screw it in. Now this is just temporary for now. This is not how this is going to work, because what this is ultimately doing is lining up what you need to drill the side holes for. Because if those holes aren't lined up and you're slightly off, then there's going to be a problem. So again, we're just going to start working this into the spot here. The official side, this is why you buy this thing, is for, if you don't paint it, it's black, and you're just basically scraping this more than you're scraping this plastic on here. So there's the first one in, and then get this lined up in that hole, because once you snug these up, this will line up the side holes, and then you get to see, I'll flip this over, show you what the front end will ultimately look like. And because I want to snug these up, because again, the positioning of the holes is going to kind of determine. And this one's been the pain in my rear all morning, so I think there's a little bit of plastic in that thread, but we'll just keep soldiering on here. There we go. Let's get in there. And again, I want this as tight as I can get it with it. As again, running on sling mods, say careful not to over tighten, because you are dealing with plastic and metal as a combination. Okay, so there. So those are the two screws in. There's what it's going to look like on the front. So what has to hold it, because right now, as you can see, there's a lot of play, are these two holes that I'm going to have to drill, is here and here. And fingers out of the way, that always helps. And the same thing on this side. And there we go. Now the holes are drilled. So basically what we're going to do now is take these off. And if you're wondering, these are just a couple of self-tapping screws. That way I can't get behind the plastic here anyways with my finger. It's fairly tight. So I just wanted something that I could, when doing this, be able to just put this on. And I got a black felt marker. There, just snugged up. And because these are silver, I've taken a little black felt marker, or black paint, I guess, if you like, and just match this to the bike so it doesn't stand out as much. So I'm going to get this side on. And I'm doing this again because this side here was always popping out right at that point, and I think it all has to do with the extra weight of the top-notch Ryker Mod grill insert at the front. Plus, again, this stops some squeaking and rattling. I've noticed it's quieted it down. There's no vibration on here. And as you can see, that's all now one big piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom on underneath here. Line up these holes. And the one thing that you need to do, that I just forgot, and I'm doing it now, is taking off these clips. You get so excited about a new add-on to your Ryker sometimes. I just forget some of the basics. So there, clips are off. Now what I'm doing is going to line up this up to the hole. Get it started. There we go. Found it. And I'm just going to start tightening it up. And this is where the ramps have really helped. I can get under here with something, an extender, and be able to really kind of get underneath and work on this. And I can see what I'm doing too, which is the bonus. So we'll get this side up, and then we'll get this one. And I got enough play, so now that I can attach the side pieces. Now, I'll show you what the side pieces are. There is the bolt and the nut, and there's a couple of washers. And the washer you want on the front side has a bit of rubber on the back. So that's the part you want first. So there's the thinner washer and the nut. And there's the washer with the rubber. And that's the piece that'll go in first. Then the washer behind that. So that's one side tightened up. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, now that I've got that one done, I'm just going to go back in here and tighten up the bottom ones. And this is getting these ones in here nice and snug. And again, remember, really reef on these because you don't want to strip them out. And I've seen some folks that'll get extra of these bolts just because, again, if you are getting curb rash and things like that, these heads tend to wear off pretty easily, so that might not be a bad idea if you're in those kind of environments where you're going to be over speed bumps and those kind of things, or your clearance on yours is a little lower if you've done some extra modifications to it. And again, we don't want to really, I'm just snugging these up. I'm sure there's a torque spec. But again, you know me. There, that's nicely done. And now I'm going to come back and tighten up the sides. This should be fairly easy, and you're probably wondering why there's no lock nut or something in the back. This is kind of the way this has been designed is there are two plastic extrusions that actually hold the nut in place. So all you're doing is starting it, and then it just stays in place. Get my big head out of your way. And then do this side. There we are. Like I said, I'm not really happy with the paint job, but that's, again, could be a project for next winter, as winter in Saskatchewan is 6 months long, so it'll give me something to do at least. Keep things entertaining for you folks that subscribe and watch my journey on how to spray paint something terribly. So yeah, there we are. That's the chin spoiler in as it is, and then let's put the top-notch Ryker Mods grill guard back in, and again, it should slip right down in there, and then you just simply line up the two pins. You'll hear it click. And where are you? There we go. And that one's in. And there we are. Let's get the hood back on. There we are. Chin spoiler, top knot Ryker Mod grill guard back in place. Thank you for coming along. It's always been fun. You never see kind of my struggles when I'm doing this by myself, but now that I'm starting to do this for the channel, you'll just see how much of an adventure any of this kind of stuff has for me. So we'll get this thing off the ramps, and today being a holiday Monday here in Canada, I've got a couple of hour ride to play with. The other thing I didn't show you, and let's go have a look at them right now, is the rocks risers. That's these things here. Now they brought the handlebars back and up a little bit. I've got my RAM mount for my GoPro, so we'll take you on some runs showing you some footage. I had some issues with the camera, and again, I was fiddling around with this and not paying attention, and so there's no footage of me putting those on, but if I do any adjustments, I'll bring you along with it. I don't know if you can see, but there's a bunch of pollen, and I've got allergies, so good thing I've got a bandana I'm wearing on the ride. So thanks again for coming along. The Joker is looking better and better as we go along. Just as a little bit of a teaser, and again, I'd like to thank BKDExhaust.com. Brandon King, as usual, gifted me with that. Go to his website, check it out, get it. If you get anything done, do like my buddy JT on 3 did, get it powder coated, don't paint it unless you use something other than Krylon. So the new thing that Brandon King has, and I've got some coming in the mail, are the new headlight covers, and I've got mine in green. They look like eyes. I know in Canada we're not supposed to do anything that affects the brightness of the light, so we will see how well that works. But again, my big thanks to Brandon King. As you can see, the inside axle covers, the lower shock mount covers, a lot of Brandon stuff is on here, the shifter knob, and of course, loud and proud with Ironside Customs, Rocks Risers, and of course BKD Exhaust. And I'm going to be getting one of Brandon's new exhausts, so we'll do that as an install video. That should be another adventure. So thanks for coming along today, and for those of you Canadians that have the day off, enjoy the sunshine like we are today, 20 degrees apparently. Yeah, so until next time, take care.